Hi, I'm Barb. Today I'm going to talk to you about canners. Now there's two different types of canners. There is the water bath canners and the pressure canning. They're both used for long-term food shelf stability. The water bath canner is for high acid foods that bacteria is killed about 180 degrees in temperature. So the water bath canner is great for peaches, pears, applesauce, tomatoes, foods that are high in acid. So the pressure canner is used for low acid foods such as vegetables, beef, meats, broth. This is a traditional water bath canner. These are great. They've got a jar lifter system, a jar rack that you pull the canning jars out. It holds 7 quart-sized jars. They're pretty cheap. You could find them at garage sales online for a couple of $5 or so. They are pretty easy and simple. You just fill them with water. As you submerge them, the USDA recommends that you submerge them by 1 inch of water covering the jars. Next up is one of my favorite type of canning systems. This is a steamer canner. I like it for a lot of reasons. You fill the bottom part of this with water, bring it to a boil, you set your jars on it, and then you put the lid on it. Now when the steam starts, you get a steady steam coming out of this hole, that's when you start timing it. And so you time it for your processing time. Typically it's like for peaches, it's 25 minutes. Plus, if you're at altitude, then it's 1 minute per 1,000 feet to add it on. So I'm at 5,000 feet, so my peaches would process for 30 minutes. This is great because you can do it right on your stove top. It's easier to do. Shut the heat off when it's completed. Let it cool for about 5 minutes. Make sure if you do use the steamer canner that when you crack it away from your body so the steam comes out. I have burned my wrists before for hitting and just lifting it straight up by the handle. Those burns hurt really bad because steam is hotter than just boiling water. But it is pretty easy to use. So once you lift it off, you've got your jars, and typically right after you lift the lid off, you start hearing the ping, 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 ping of the jar sealing. So this is a great option. I love this. You can see it's old and beat up and well used. This will run you about 45 to 50 bucks for one of these. The traditional canner that you can buy at Walmart, I believe I looked at it last week and it was like $25. This is the Fresh Tech electric water bath canner. My new favorite go-to for a couple of reasons. You can put it on your counter and you could fill it up. I usually put the spigot on my sink side, fill it up with the water. They have a mark inside where they don't want you to fill it above that amount. One of the things that I don't like about this canner is they just have a trivet for the bottom. I've misplaced my trivet, otherwise I would show it to you. But the jar rack will fit in this, and so that's what I use in here. The rack is the same exact size as the other canner. It will fit 7 quart-sized jars. Now with this, one of my favorite things about it is that it's on the countertop, so it's freeing up my range. This uses less electricity than the stove top. It will run you about $260 to $280. This also has multiple uses. It comes with a steaming rack that fits down in it, and you can steam corn on the cob. There's a less expensive model of the Bell canner, electric canner. It is not usable for steaming or for making soup in. It doesn't have the spigot on the side, but it runs about $160 to $180 for that one. I don't own it. These are all things that I've purchased. These are 2 of the pressure canner systems that I use and that I'm down to. The Presto electric pressure canner. I really like this, and this has been my go-to for canning. If you've used an Instapot, it's extremely similar to that. The drawback to it is it only holds 5 quart-sized jars, where this will hold 7. This takes longer to come up to heat than the electric pressure canner does, and this one is kind of a set it and forget it kind of thing. is really easy, and it's kind of almost like canning for dummies. You just put the time in here that you want to pressure can it. It will sterilize jars, although with pressure canning, you do not have to sterilize your jars beforehand like you do with the water bath canning. Because of the high heat that you are, it is recommended that you wash your jars with soapy water and rinse them really good because you don't want any residue in your food. And then you process it, because the processing will kill anything that's not sanitized beforehand. Electric pressure canner will come to temperature on its own. It will vent for 10 minutes. It will beep at you when it's time to put your weight on. So I typically will have my green button clicked on. I take my weight and I put it off on the side. When it vents for 10 minutes and it beeps at me and says it's ready to can, with an oven mitt on your hand, I put it on the center. The center is closed. The two sides are vent. I put that on, and then I press the next go, or the green arrow button here. And then it will just automatically pressurize it for the length of time that it needs to. You will hear minimum hissing out of this. It'll hiss just until it's locked into canning. It will tell you when it's done canning. It'll tell you when it's cooled down. With this, you have to kind of babysit it a little bit more. The things that I like about the All-American is it's really heavy duty. It's made really well. It is heavy though. So as I get older, it's harder to use. Stove canner. You can put 2 trivets in here and do pint-sized jars at the same time, because you can double stack it. This will hold 7 jars, 7 quart-sized jars. With the electric pressure canners, they have gaskets, and a lot of the regular traditional canners have gaskets as well. This is you put either olive oil. I've seen people put Vaseline on here, and they want you to clean it and put new lubrication on this about every 3rd time you use it. But it creates a seal. It's a metal on metal seal, which is kind of handy because it is kind of a pain replacing the gaskets. It does have a locking. You can see here a locking here and a locking here. So I know a lot of people worry that the pressure canner lids are going to blow off, but they are so safely made that that's not going to happen. So it does lock on here. You put the screws on opposite side, and then you screw it down. You just want to do a little loose tight. You don't want to do it super tight, just to get the screws on. And then once you have all 4 corners starting at opposites, or all 6 corners starting on opposites, at that point then you do your regular tight, cross tight, cross tight, cross tight. And you don't want to over tight it. You don't want to crank it down so hard that it's over tight. Once it comes up to venting to pressure, you need to vent it for 10 minutes. You want 5 jiggles in a minute, and that's when you're set in your sweet spot. The weight amount goes on your altitude. So here I can at 15 pounds of pressure. That's one of the other things that's kind of nice about the electric pressure canner, is that it's pretty silent once you've got it going. Now this annoys my husband. It jiggles for 90 minutes. It's constantly for 90 minutes. So if you have a husband that doesn't like you to can while he's home from work, that is one of my reasons why I go to this one. Although you can can more in this than you can in this, with having 7 jars versus 5. These are roughly $280, where this is going to cost you right around $400 to $500. These have been going up and up in price. When I bought mine a long time ago, I only paid $200 for it. The price is more expensive. Serious canners do use this because it's more durable. It's going to last longer. There's no electronics to burn out or to break down. It all depends on what you like, but these are my 2 go-to. If you have any questions or comments, in the link below. If you want to give it a thumbs up and enjoyed this and thought it was helpful, that would be great. So until next time, thank you.